Thank you, Elder Katherine. If you have attended our last session a month ago, it was very nice seeing you again. And for those that are joining us for the first time, welcome to our second Looking After Each Other gathering. I'm Helena Estrada. I am a member of the Manitoba FASD Coalition Board of Directors and the regional support for the STAR program, or Success Through Advocacy and Role Modeling. We are a federally funded FASD prevention program, and I have the honor of co-chairing this year's Looking After Each Other committee together with the Zagate Jordan's Principal team at Lake Manitoba First Nation. Paul? Paul, can you unmute yourself, please?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul Mclean. I'm the Rehabilitation Assistant for the Zagate Jordan's Principal team at Lake Manitoba First Nation. I would like to acknowledge Lake Manitoba First Nation in Treaty 2 territory, the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Assiniboine, Dakota, Dene, and Métis people. I would also like to acknowledge the Manitoba FASD Coalition, the Looking After Each Other Dignity Project, recognizes number 33 and 34 of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada calls to action. For all of you attending our session, your names will be entered into a draw to win a gift card, and the announcement will be made on the Manitoba FASD Coalition Facebook page.
Thank you. Well, all of us here today share a common passion of promoting dignity for those who have been impacted by alcohol and FASD in our province. And in 2014, a group of Manitobans from different FASD community coalitions collectively created a vision and advocate for people with FASD and women who may have used alcohol during pregnancy to be fully accepted and their dignities promoted. So the Provincial Dignity Promotion Project received the name Looking After Each Other from an Indigenous naming ceremony led by Elder Velma Orvis on September 21st, 2015. The Looking After Each Other Dignity Promotion Project began in the hopes to break the stigma and barriers for those impacted by alcohol and FASD. Paul, can you please tell us about your Jordan's Principal team and how your team got involved with the FASD Coalition?
Yeah, sure. Am I on mute?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Oh, no, you're not on mute.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Zagate Jordan's Principal first became involved with the Manitoba FASD Coalition back in 2019. When we were invited to join them in the gathering at Camp Wanna-Come-Back in Riding Mountain National Park. Our case manager, Mary May Twashing, sits as a member of the elders of the coalition group with other knowledge keepers. Since then, we have hosted in our community a workshop with Manitoba FASD Coalition called Celebrating Our Families, which turned out to be a great turnout. Annually, the Manitoba FASD Coalition have hosted Looking After Each Other annual gatherings to listen, learn, and share from each other. This year, despite the current pandemic, we'll continue to connect, engage, exchange dialogues on how to advocate and promote dignity for people with FASD and their families. We have invited elders from different nations to share their teachings and knowledge on this year's theme of building healthy communities. Please note that our elders' teachings are being recorded and will be uploaded on the Manitoba FASD Coalition website for future viewing. If I could please ask everyone to mute your Zoom microphone during our session. I encourage you to use our chat box for questions, and which will be answered after our elders' teachings. At this time, I may invite Grandmother Mary May Twashing, the Zagate Jordan's Principal Manager, to introduce our elders.
Somebody watch the door so they don't, you guys have to watch the door. Hi, good afternoon. Welcome everybody to our session for this afternoon. I'm just going to introduce myself as Animosibing Dunji, Miigwech, Kitandanim, Makanagai, Kawi Jake, Geningen, and Anakumanungum, Kishamanitu, Umaganimino, Kanamatabian, Chuichi, Yan, where Kawi Tashinchagate, where Nungum, Ikweokoncha. I just want to say welcome to everyone, and I am thankful as well for being blessed with a beautiful day, and I look forward to hearing the teachings of our knowledge keepers, elders, for this afternoon about this very important topic that we need to discuss, and how we can assist our families and how we can help our people to become healthy again. So I'm just going to do a brief biography of each of our elders for this afternoon. I have in front of me here, I just want to say greetings to my sister, grandmother, knowledge keeper, Katherine Whitecloud, and I've had the opportunity to sit in many meetings and ceremonies with my ceremonial sisters. Thank you, Katherine, for accepting our invitation to be one of the speakers for this afternoon. So knowledge keeper Katherine Whitecloud, mother and grandmother, is a community leader and knowledge keeper from, from the Dakota Nation. Chosen at the age of 16 to represent her people, Katherine has been a spokesperson for her nation for over 30 years. She has worked for her community over 30 years in several roles, including as Chief and Director of Education. Knowledge keeper Katherine Whitecloud was also CEO for the Assembly of First Nations, Director of Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs, and Regional Chief of the Assembly of First Nations. Her work lies in ensuring the life and teachings articulated and envisioned by her forefathers is honored and protected. Knowledge keeper Katherine Whitecloud is a member of the Turtle Lodge National Council of Elders and Knowledge Keepers. So that's Katherine. The next person that I will introduce is Elder Dr. Dave Courchene. And again, you know, I really thank you, Dave, for accepting our invitation for you to be one of the speakers this afternoon. And Elder Dr. Dave is very well known. He's done work, I guess, internationally, and has inspired many people. Dave Courchene, Nigani Akin, and the leading Earthman, has traveled internationally carrying a message of hope and peace, carrying a message. Dave shares the ancient knowledge of the original people of Turtle Island that he believes can act as the foundation in supporting the new life that Mother Earth is now entering, and that the elders have confirmed has arrived. He has created a special place for sharing the ancient knowledge of the original peoples. The Turtle Lodge, built based on a vision he received many years ago. The original people have always relied on visions and dreams to give guidance and direction in life. Dave was honored by leaders and elders of the original peoples at the 2010 International Indigenous Leadership Gathering, and with a National Aboriginal Achievement Inspire Award in Culture, Heritage, and Spirituality, and the Volunteer Award for Outstanding Community Leadership in 2012 for the work associated with his message and vision, including the work he has done inspiring young people. So that's Dave, and welcome, Dave. Miigwech. It's nice to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Grandmother Mary. Elder Katherine, whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge my relative, H.S.E. Frank, for I just saw your your face on the screen as one of the people who are participating. And hello, good afternoon, and also to Deborah. Icheshi Frank is from my home community, Wipazoka Wakpa, Dakota Oyate, and he has done a tremendous amount of work in helping our people and in being a mentor and in especially helping our young people. And for that, I'm grateful. And I'm happy to see that he's on this call today. In my conversation with Mary, when she first called me about this session today, this forum today, which I understand was originally intended as a conference or a gathering. And in this current day and age of COVID and all the other health matters that are affecting our people, it's good that we're able to meet, albeit virtually. It works when we want to share a message. I had spoken with Mary and other grandmothers quite extensively about what we need to do to support our gifted children. And that is what I refer to our children whom others may see as different and we see as gifted, who are brought to us for a purpose and to teach us something. One of the main points I wanted to raise in today's session is how do we address the burgeoning cases of what you had introduced as children that are born from the effects of alcohol consumption while in utero, as well as children who are born with special, I call them special gifts, but also special needs as a result of primarily it's alcohol and substance abuse during pregnancy. One of the key components of this is that as grandmothers and as people who are not that far from when we were teenagers, and we like to hang on to that, what was taught to us by our grandmothers about caring for ourselves, and what we learned from childhood onwards about our role as not only young women in the community and in the families, but also what our forthcoming role would be as wife, partner, and mother, and then eventually grandmother once we're blessed with grandchildren. And as a young child and a young girl, I was taught about the importance of respecting your own body, the importance of taking care of yourself and keeping in mind that the things you do, your children will have to carry for you and your grandchildren in the future. And with that in mind, understanding that in order to bring forth happy or healthy children and healthy families, we need to practice and live a healthy way, a healthy taking care of ourselves, taking care of our children, and also understanding those old ways of knowing that we were raised with, that we didn't question, that we understood to be good for our people and our families and for our children. The old ways of knowing really are about, and I like to say it's a common sense approach, but it's also inherently a spiritual process of understanding our purpose in life and understanding that what we have to bring forward to help our children and to help our communities and our families and our communities and our people is to walk in a good and healthy way and to be healthy in all of our approaches to what we do every day, including a very specifically this topic that we're discussing today, to teach our young women that their responsibility in life as a mother or as an auntie or as a grandmother about caring for their children, and especially during the developmental stage, especially during pregnancy, and how we prepare for that. How do we prepare for becoming a mother? Those are the old teachings that we were taught as young girls, so that when we went forward in life, we knew about what we needed to do during pregnancy and even before.
No!
Okay. Hello.
Hello. Can I just ask everybody to mute their conversations during the teachings? Thank you.
And so learning about caring for our bodies and learning about respecting ourselves and learning that it's important to choose in our choosing of partners, the support that's required as we bring forth life and as we bring forth families. So that was our way in our early childhood of already knowing before reaching puberty and before reaching the stage where we could bring forth life, the expectations, but more importantly, the responsibility of contributing to the well-being of your family and well-being of therefore the well-being of your people, your community. And that is our efforts now as grandmothers, and every grandmother has that role and that responsibility, and that is where our efforts need to be concentrated on. And when we talk about the passages in life that we go through, we talk about coming of age, and those are teachings that start right from in utero, when we speak our language to our children while we carry them, and when we sing our songs while we carry them, to teach them, to teach our children about the importance of maintaining and connecting to who we are as a people, and to connecting to what it means to have a healthy partner and child and parent relationship. And that begins early on. It doesn't begin after the fact. When we talk about bringing dignity to and support for children and parents, that starts way back at the onset of teaching our children about self-respect and about dignity, so that we don't have to deal with the outcomes of our actions as young adults later on in life, when we do have children that come to us, that are gifted to us and that we're blessed with, that have gifts. Others may call them needs, but in our understandings, they are gifts, and they're brought to us to teach us about those things that we need to know and to do to support them. But also, in retrospect, we can see what we need to be doing before we even become pregnant or before we carry life, and including fathers, including the young men who need to understand what it means to be a parent and a father, and their role in supporting their partner, and their role in ensuring a healthy pregnancy and a healthy life for our children. Those teachings start very, very young. And now sadly, because of the state of our communities, and a lot of times now we're dealing through this JP process, and I know Mary works in this, through children that need our specialized attention. For all of our children, all of them are gifted in one way or another. All of them have something to bring to us, a message, and to teach us, because we are taught during our growing up years and through our lives with our grandparents, that children are our messengers, and they are the closest thing to that spiritual realm that we tend to pull away from as we grow up, because we like our own ego and our own thoughts and our own wants to lead our way, instead of listening to those directions that were given to us, that we've lived with for many, many centuries. So now we are at the point where we compress what we call preparing for motherhood, preparing for fatherhood, preparing for contributing and fulfilling your responsibilities in life, responsibilities given to you by our Creator, and to be a good relative. Now we find ourselves that we compress those teachings into a very short time frame. Well, we need to bring back, and I'm encouraged by the work of all of you and all of what you're doing. And by the way, when I say work, I always tell young people that in anything that we do in our lifetime as Ikje, as Indigenous peoples, we are never working. What we're doing for our entire lifetime is helping and being helpers to our people. It's our life. that we are contributing to, and the well-being of our families and our communities we are contributing to in this what we do. And that is one of the key teachings for young people, is that be cognizant and be very aware of what you're doing, because it's going to impact your family, and it's going to impact your children further down the road and your grandchildren, but it also impacts the entire community. That awareness and that responsibility for who we are as individuals and our role within families and community is what we need to bring back to our young people and to encourage in a kind and gentle way. And as grandparents, we've learned that. And as even if you don't have your own, what we call birth children and birth grandparents, we have a responsibility for all children and grandchildren in our communities and amongst our people, regardless of language. We all have our own languages, and the teachings are similar. They're just articulated in a different way. That's why we're able to work together for the benefit of children and for the benefit of the well-being of our families and our communities. When we work with children with needs, for myself, I look upon it as I've always looked upon it as a learning experience that they've brought. I've been exposed to them for a purpose, to learn from them. And we've been taught so much about their special gifts. Well, one of the key ones that I always recall and remember is I attended an FAD or FASE, FAE. There's so many acronyms now, of children who had lived with the effects of alcohol on their systems when they were in utero, and how this one young man spoke at the age of 18 about being raised in a foster home because of his medical needs, and how he grew up in a very loving home, and his parents were there with him, his foster parents, and how he appreciated how much they'd done for them, that they had provided him with a solid direction in life and a solid grounding. And he said, but the only thing he ever wanted in his lifetime growing up in a foster home was, he said, all I ever wanted was my mother. All I ever wanted was a connection and to be able to be with my mother. And that is so key in all of what we do, is that our children are connected biologically and through blood and through their connection to who they are as Indigenous peoples, even directly to mom and directly to family. And that is where we need to provide the supports to moms and aunties and grandmas and fathers and grandpas and uncles that provide that support network for our children that are gifted and that are here to teach us. And we can't forget that. We can't forget about that emotional attachment and that spiritual connection that our children have to who they are. They know what their connection is. And we tend to forget about that as we medicalize our supports, and we use the medical system and the medical terminology and a Western concept for how to care for our children that need our help. And I encourage young people to think about that. It's similar to giving birth. We've reached a stage in our lives now where giving birth has become a medical situation instead of the most natural, powerful process that has been given to humankind to bring forth life. And I bring that into the context of what we're talking about today, because we tend to try to address these challenges that our children face and our young moms face and mothers face from a medical perspective, when we need to be addressing it from a spiritual perspective, from an Indigenous knowledge perspective, about how would our grandmothers address this and how would our grandmothers advise us. So I encourage all of you to look for that knowledge and to utilize it. Now, we, on an annual basis now, are with spending time with young women and young men to teach them about their role in life, or to encourage them and to point them in that direction so they discover that and learn that, to provide the supports necessary for them to learn that. Because to know that, to know who you are, to have those understandings, to have that groundwork, that solid foundation will guide you for the rest of your life and everything that you do about loving yourself, respecting yourself, caring for yourself, and then through extension, learning through your siblings, caring for your siblings, you know, helping your parents, your grandparents. All of that brings into perspective the importance of that, what we now call wraparound services for our children and our families, when in actuality, that has always been a part of who we are when we use the term, it takes a village to raise a child, including teaching that child before there is ever talk of pregnancy about how to care for themselves to bring forth how, if you're healthy, taking care of yourself, you're going to bring forth healthy life. And so we encourage young girls now and provide those supports for them to do that. And then now we're dealing, because we're after the fact attempting to deal with this. Now we have to treat our children that are gifted for what their gifts are and their strengths are, to use that strength terminology, Western terminology, again, a strength-based approach to how we can support them, to how we can have, so that they can have a really good, happy life. And good, happy life for a lot of people means a lot of different things. But we learn as we go through our walk in life that that good, happy life for me now, in spite of the many years I've I've been blessed with walking on this earth now, is walking with that spiritual path that Tukashla, our Creator, has provided for us, and for giving back to the community, and for living out my responsibility and my role now as a grandmother to help young people to learn that. But I want to do it at the front end before a young mom becomes pregnant. And I want to do it while a young mom is carrying a child, to bring forth that beautiful life, to carry forward all of those things that I had the honor and the wonderful blessing of learning from my grandmother and my great-grandmother and my mom and my aunties and my dad and uncles and so on. And so I want to share that today, about that importance, about remembering and bringing forth that ancient knowledge that we all carry, that really provides us with that solid foundation that we require to have a healthy family and to have a healthy community and healthy children. So that's what I wanted to share today. And that's what we constantly are speaking about. And as many, many people have told us, the answers lie in simplicity. And the simplicity is, the answers lie in our languages, in our ways of knowing, and our knowledge that was given to us by our forefathers. There's no magic to it. You don't need a medical degree to know about what it means to bring forth and take care of yourself in a healthy way and to bring forth a healthy life. So I want to share that today, and I'm open to comments and questions, but I know Dave has more to offer, and Eshe Frank will have more to offer, because I'm aware of his work, what he does. And so I'm going to leave it at that right now, because I know, Mary, you gave me a time frame about how much time I had. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Elder Katherine. I just want to echo what you had said about all of us coming here together with that like-mindedness about, sharing that kindness and love, to be able to offer that wraparound service for families and those that we work with. Thank you again so much, Elder Katherine, for that wonderful teaching. And now I would like to invite Elder Dr. Dave to speak about more about the rites of passage.
Thank you very much, Alina. Bonjour. Bani Vinema Ganituk, Nigani Aki, Nendigo, Sagin Donji, Pinyon Doten, Nishnabenda. Tibo Abjitohan, Mani Nejigi, Tetwin. No de Abjitungani, Manin kagibi hujan chine yang chigi gituang. Maya mi gatsindina gat bending it madhuvan. Miwe manido. Igi joini matanishnabe. Igi mina tanishnabe kinage. Manin gewi chaya miwe minakumadhuvan. Mi gatskendina nokumis. Viter. Ekenemigoan Piakazian, Nochigogat, Etutaguan, Piabidaskajuan, Jimmy Manin, John Dadizian, Niwe Wisnewan, the best Sketian. Uskesi Knamayan, Anin, Way, and Chimosang Maki. You wets again the animation set up, kind of the art in the Sundan. All the known, shall known, Yabian and Soviet. Is a book sent man way no gum tagamano. She be with you on. She waking up again, me. Manin, Yagi Kanamago. Mani gaining Gagi Kanamago is young. She came the man, no gum way no. APC, joined that was at Nishinabe. My dear relatives, first of all, let me offer my gratitude for inviting me to be with all of you here this afternoon. I've said so many times, over the years, that as Indigenous people, we have much to share. And that has always been the legacy that our ancestors have left us, to be a people that can give, to be a people that can share. And if we reflect on the current reality that we live today, we find that we are in an environment of poverty. We find ourselves at the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder in this country, where our children are reflected in that poverty. And we find ourselves today not having the same kind of freedom and opportunities that our ancestors had to move around Mother Earth, to be with Mother Earth and to feel her abundance. Because we're so restricted in our own homeland that we have been put into these little square boxes that they call reservations that add up to less than 1% of the original land base of our people. This offers a tremendous challenge for us as a people to try to maintain the memory of our ancestors. As Indigenous people, we have evolved with a knowledge and understanding that reflected living a sustainable way of life. And it was based upon teachings that acted as the foundation of that way of life. There were values that were lived in honoring a sacred relationship with the land and with all of life. The biggest challenge we face today as humanity is our current behavior that shows lack of respect for life and certainly for Mother Earth and her laws. That has caused an alarming situation globally. We have to change our lifestyle. Prophecy had foretold we would enter this time when the sacred teachings would be revealed and shared with the rest of the world. I believe we have entered into this time. It's a time of fulfillment of prophecy. As a people, we had visionaries and prophets like any other people around the world. prophecies were always there to guide us to remember that we were all given original instructions on how we should live and behave as human beings. What we are witnessing today is a pandemic that is very quickly teaching us what's really important in life. As challenging as it is to be isolated and not to be allowed to socialize with each other, we begin to realize how important that it is to be able to be with one another, to be able to work together, to be able to play together. And we are realizing today that pandemic that we're experiencing is really a result of our behavior in the way that we have treated the world, the way we have treated the animal world. This pandemic that we're currently experiencing offers us a time to reflect and look at our current behavior and how we are treating each other as human beings. What we are witnessing in the world today is the separation and the division that has been created because we have not reached the level of the simple understanding that we are all brothers and sisters, that we are all children of the earth, that we have all been born from Mother Earth herself. When we have yet to learn that the earth that we call Mother Earth has a spirit. She has and is a living entity. And she carries an intelligence, a higher intelligence than you will ever find in any of the academic institutions that man has created. There's no greater intelligence than the greatest intelligence of the original mother that we call Mother Earth. And what Mother Earth teaches us is about life. What Mother Earth reflects is her natural laws that has always helped our people to remain balanced and to be in harmony with all of life, whether it be the animal world, the bird nation, the fish nation, and all of those many, many unique nations that are our relatives. We're not relative only to each other as human beings, but we are relative to all of life. And man has yet to understand the root.
Sorry, Dr. Dave. Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. We're having issues hearing you. Do you mind turning up your volume, please?
Is this a little better? Hello?
Sort of. Hello? Paul, are you receiving that audio better?
Hello?
Can we try again,
Hi.
Dr. Dave?
It
Yes.
that it got a little lower.
Can you hear me now? A little better?
No, it actually wasn't. Oh, okay. There's a comment that says they can hear him clearer.
Okay.
Can we
Okay,
try?
yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Dave.
Okay, I've lost my thought, but let me let me try to regain.
I apologize. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. I think that what the point I wanted to make, is if we're going to get to find a solution to the current challenges that we're facing in today's world, we need to stop and reflect on the history of how we arrived at this time. And I'm sure there would be many people that would agree that in spite of the advancements that we've made in science, that we have not been able to fully appreciate that there is a greater intelligence that is within our reach and within our presence. And that intelligence that I make reference to, first of all, is the Spirit itself. The foundation of our belief system as a people is that we have always believed in the greater, higher power that we call the Great Spirit, the great mystery. And we don't have the intellectual capacity to be able to understand the greatness of this Great Spirit that is reflected in the spirit of unconditional love. But our people evolved over many thousands of years, having a close relationship with the Creator, the Great Spirit. All the actions that were done by the people was in humbleness and honor of the gift of life received from the Great Spirit. And it was our understanding as a people that in order to receive the abundance of the land, we had to be able to reciprocate the love that the land has given to each of us through what we need in order to sustain ourselves and in order to survive as human beings. It is a sacred relationship that has yet to be understood by most of our brothers and sisters. And this is the reason why Indigenous people are so important. And I try to say that in a most humble way, that we are not saying that we're more knowledgeable, that we're more intelligent than any of our brothers and sisters, but rather I say it to embrace the duty and responsibility that has been given to us by our ancestors to share a way of life that can all help our brothers and sisters to come to terms with how we should be living and behaving and treating each other with respect and kindness. And we see what is reflected in the world today is a loss of those values, a loss of this spirit of kindness. I find it unbelievable that in a country that we call Canada that is so rich and full of abundance, that we have the most vulnerable in institutions and they cannot be taken care of, are the elders. What kind of a society have we become that we have not shown respect for the very ones that have helped us to grow, to be the human beings that are walking on the earth? I cannot understand, surrounded by all this abundance, that the first peoples of this part of the world find themselves continually being dominated and marginalized and not being allowed to participate equally in helping create and define a new and better world. And this is where prophecy comes in, is that in this time that many of our knowledge keepers have agreed that we've entered that time of purification. We have entered that time, well, when Mother Earth is going to give birth to a new life. And that new life must be born within each of us. That new life is about values and teachings. That new life is about living your spirit, because it is your spirit that carries your identity in who you are. And it's not up to any other person to define who you are or to pass judgment or condemnation of how you decide to define yourself in your own identity. Creator made you a certain way, and you are to find that uniqueness of your own spirit and how you want to walk upon this earth. The old people tell us over and over again, the most important element of our way of life is the spirit. Everything about who we are as a people is about that spirit that gives us our identity and who we are. Is a beautiful, beautiful spiritual people. It is sad and unfortunate that we as a people have had to endure so much darkness in our history, where we were not allowed to participate and to live out the reflection of our identity as a people. We were not allowed to speak our language, where we were not allowed to sing the sacred ancestral songs of our people that can touch our hearts and our spirit to bring back full memory of who we are. We were not allowed to practice the ceremonies. We were not allowed to light the sacred fires that acted as a doorway for the entrance of the Spirit to come within our presence, to guide us, to teach us on how to be better, kind, caring human beings. When we talk about the rites of passage, there is a rite of passage that is practiced amongst many of our nation. And I want to just share quickly a rite of passage for the young boys and the young girls, because it will be paramount in teaching our young boys and our young men how to take responsibilities in life. We've got to take our young people out of this environment of dependency on an institution that has no respect for who we are in terms of our own sovereignty and our own right to be who we are as beautiful people. It was long ago, the old people saw that the young boy, when they reached the age of puberty, it was a time that the boy was to be taken to begin his journey to find his vision that would define his purpose and meaning in his life. And equally important, that young boy was taken to the land to go and feel the land itself and to be able to hear the voice as the land would speak through the birds, through the animals, through the stars, the sky, the sun. Everything that is beautiful can talk, that has been created by the Creator. Why are we not listening to the voice as it continues to try to reach all of us? The young boys today, more than ever, need to be supported to that rite of passage, to be able to go to the land, to seek his own vision, to remember his identity and his gifts that he has to help create a better world. It is said within the lodges of our people that it is the young people that offer the hope for all of us, but they must be mentored. They must be guided by the ones that understand these sacred teachings, that understand the ceremonies, that understand the language, that understand and remembers the original instructions that we were all given on how to live and how to behave as human beings. The young boy was taught about taking responsibility, about having a family, that young boy within his own capacity was there to take full responsibility of supporting the life that would come from the woman, that would come to the world. That young boy was taught about responsibility and taking care of that. When the young girls bled for the first time, which I am told is a very traumatic time for a young girl, realizing now that she can bleed, she can bring life into this world. And she was automatically taken to the lodges to be in front of the grandmothers, for the grandmothers to share her sacredness and her gift to be able to bring life into this world. And there was tremendous, awesome responsibility that were carried out by the women in helping to not only to bring life into this world, but to take care of that life. Look at what we have done to the children today. When today we find close to over 10,000 children in foster care, that is a shame on all of us for not giving the support to the mothers and to those young people and teaching them how to take responsibilities in taking care of a family, in taking care of themselves. Our world is filled with so much temptations today that the young people are tempted with so many things that we were never tempted with when we were growing up. The amount of drugs and the amount of things that one can become addicted to. Social media also plays a big part in this. That what are the children watching? What are they doing on this social media? And I've heard one elder say that these laptops, have become the grandfathers of today and how they're in social media. How do we know what they're seeing? From what I've been told, you can almost see anything that you want in this media, and that is dangerous. That is dangerous for our children. When we talk about the rite of passage, we are talking about becoming the human beings that we were originally created to be. We are spiritual beings. We have come from spirit and we entered into the womb of our mothers to be created to come and help support the dream of the Creator, to fulfill the vision of the Creator. And to complete his vision is to bring love, peace into this world. And we must find this courage to be able to meet these challenges today, to be able to create the environment of support for our children, for our young people that need, and they have the right to be taught the teachings of their people, because it is our people that are going to be in the forefront of a movement that's going to awaken the whole world about the understanding and the meaning of the real sacredness of life. In a few months, we're going to be calling upon our relative to light a sacred fire on the winter solstice on December the 21st, which in the Northern Hemisphere, which brings about the longest night, which will give birth to the new sun. And these are the times when we gather in our lodges and we let go of those things that have not worked for us. And we make a pledge that we will walk as best we can with having a foundation of teachings and values that can make us better human beings. And it all begins with each of us. There's much that we can do. And I really want to thank all of you that are working in your own way to try to give greater support for the children. And yes, there is a demand that is so great, that is so challenging, but we must be there. One of the things the elders have always said, that if we're going to survive these current times, then we must find a way to work together. And it is in these efforts that we will find the solutions that we need. We may not have them in front of us here, but we can go and ask the Spirit in ceremony for guidance, for dreams and visions that will help us go beyond this insanity that we're living. And it is only when the sacred fire is lit that it lights up in the darkness to show that there is light, that there can be light, and that light must begin from within our own heart, from our own spirit, that we call the shining blue light, that must reflect actions of kindness, caring, love for everyone. The children need help more than ever. And why are we not creating the environments for them to be able to come within the lodges of their people? Why is it so difficult to try to redistribute some of the resources and to bring the children with the parents to the lodges of their people, to come and feel that spirit? You cannot intellectualize these teachings in any institution. They have to be felt, and they are felt in the lodges with the invoking of the power of the pipe and the songs and the drums that are sounded. That is when you feel the spirit. That is when you can hear your own spirit within these ceremonies, as the elders are sharing what is important in life. So I hope that whatever I have been able to contribute here this afternoon, I hope that you will be inspired, to find these ways, that the knowledge keepers, can offer guidance and direction. I have struggled over many years trying to position our elders to their rightful place of influence, particularly the grandmothers that hold the deep sacredness of understanding what life is, what love is all about. I always remember my mother who has gone on to the spirit world when I had taken some food to her. And this is what she said as I was leaving her home. She goes, this, away, kami natuto yan, manito, ikitiba ma. Translated, it means in a very simple, profound way, this good deed that you have done today, she said, the Creator will pay you for it. That's profound. Today we minimize being paid through dollars or through material things. But what about accepting payment for the Creator that passes down kindness, peace, and love that can help you to work even better, to find laughter in the work that you do. So thank you for giving me this time, and I hope that, and I wish you all the best, all of you that have joined today. I know things are challenging. I know that COVID has created a lot of challenges, but you must never have fear. You cannot live in fear of anything. You know, you must have faith in the Creator. You must have faith in Spirit. You must have faith in the land itself, that the natural laws that are self-enforcing are going to bring us back into balance again. We are not in control of that. Only the earth with her forces will bring us back to remember the original instructions that we were all given on how we should be living as human beings. Thank you so much. Miigwech.
Miigwech, Dr. Dave. Your contributions is not little at all. I am really inspired and really felt those statements that you have shared with us, and the teachings are really powerful. Thank you so, so much. I agree with Elder Katherine earlier about like the teachings that we have heard today. Although we are limited with time, they truly, your teachings as well as Elder Katherine's have been really powerful and impactful to all of us, and really inspired to keep going with the kind of work that we do, and that hopefully everyone who's listening with us today embrace and fulfill the teachings that you both of you have passed on to us, and from the elders and grandmothers and grandfathers, and that we kindly receive these messages, and that you are truly nourishing our spirits to bring back the awareness and the capacity of being helpers and contributing to the well-being and welfare of our children and our families. So thank you again so much, Dr. Dave and Elder Katherine, for your teachings and your gentle reminders to have that you have for all of us today to help create a healthy community. I encourage everyone to if they have any questions for our elders, now is your opportunity to do so. If you can just unmute your microphone. We have a comment here from Georgina. She says, Gichi Miigwech, thank you for the inspiration and your beautiful words, elders. And we have a thank you from Carrie Ann for Elder Katherine and Dr. Dave. She also says, yeah, the teachings today were beautiful and powerful. If you're shy to ask, I am monitoring the chat box.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep. Hello.
It's Mary. Hi. I just want to say miigwech to Dr. Elder Dave Courchene, and also to Katherine for their powerful words and their knowledge. And that I want to add that, you know, working with Elder Dave and my sister Katherine, they brought a powerful message to all of us that we need to take seriously, because in our communities, we're all dealing with a lot of pain, grief, loss. We're working with families who have children with developmental delays, which were never heard of, you know, long ago, because we were a healthy people and we thrived in our communities because of the knowledge that our ancient ones, our ancestors, have left for us. And that, you know, if we are serious and are true to our people, working with them in our communities. And just like what the elders say, that we have to have that solid foundation, and we need to begin that work today. You know, I've sat as well in many meetings and conferences where it was just words. And after the conference has been left, there is no action. So, you know, everything that was shared today by our knowledge keepers, that, you know, these words that they shared, we have to put them into action, that we can't just put them on a shelf and have them collect dust, because that's what has always happened. So to do that work as best as we can, and that, you know, to continue that work. I also want to add that I was in conversation with one of my northern brothers up north, and he works in a remote community, and him and I shared about you know, the work that we do working with children in I guess in a facility, and that how hard it is and difficult it is when you work in a facility, in an organization where there is no spiritual foundation. And that, you know, for me, I try and bring as best as I can that foundation and that spiritual direction and that guidance to whoever I work with, and the importance of having that available to our young ones. But one of the things that I wanted to share is that, you know, he really inspired me when he shared that his story. He is an industrial arts teacher. He doesn't have any form of a degree from the university, but what he has is the skills that are natural to him through the Rites of Passage teachings that he has gained from his grandfathers and his father, late grandfather and late father. What he shared was, I asked him, so how do you work with children, you know, in a classroom that has like a delay, such as, and it's not to label or discriminate anyone against any child who may have that delay, who has been impacted by drugs, alcohol, because we are all responsible. And I think it was Elder Dave who had shared that, and as well, Katherine, that we are all responsible to the children in our community, whether they are not like a blood relative. You are still responsible to make sure and ensure that there is a healthy community for the child. So what he shared was, because he shows the love and the kindness to that child, and that he believes in the young girl who has that delay. He shared that it's amazing of what she has created with her hands, with the knowledge that he has provided to her, to create something out of wood, to the point where she now wants to go further to becoming, I guess, a carpenter, or to build things with her hands. So for me, what it showed me is that the reason why it inspired me so much is because it wasn't all about the academics, but it's it's the physical skills that he gave to that young girl to be able to build with her hands. She was able to do that. And he had a lot of patience, because that's what he said. In order for you to work with young people, you have to have a lot of patience. And I've heard, you know, my colleagues, like the elders that have just shared that, you know, we require a lot of patience, but we also, and you have to have that to work with the children. But I just wanted to add that, and I really want to thank them for, for sharing that information. But, for me, working in an environment such as the Jordan's Principle program is very challenging for me. And I want to say that because I've never seen so much delays, you know, like you have, and again, it's not to label anyone, but it's because a result of the colonization, the environmental impacts, the residential schools, the 60 schools, and it goes on. Because we are so disconnected, our families are disconnected. And we need to go back. We need to go back to our own ways and teach our own people, because we have the answers. We know how to do that, but we need to take, I guess, pride in the work that we do. We have to love what we do. So that's what I wanted to add, you know, to this afternoon. And, you know, when I first got involved with this, the coalition, I knew where I wanted to take it. I wanted to have Indigenous involvement, and I knew which ones to contact that had that knowledge. And you know, because I've heard it for so many years, you know, and to me, that's where the healing will take place. That's how we will become healthy, by inviting and involving our elders and not pushing them to the side, because that's what happens, and we're not utilizing the real people, the true leaders of our communities, and we need to do that. So with that, I want to say thank you to our both our elders for giving us that very important information that we need to all hear. Miigwech.
Thank you, Grandmother Mary. And I just, in connection to, I agree with you. There might be, well, majority of our participants may be service providers, and we see that disconnectedness, a lot from the people that we work with. So my question to Dr. Dave and Elder Katherine, and whoever would like to answer as well, is that what would be your message for the women and young girls who may have lost their spiritual connectedness because of their addictions, to find their strength to take care of their children and their families?
Go ahead, Kathy. Are you there, Kathy?
Yeah, I'm here. I was, I was deferring to you because you're older. You know, our women, as is the way of our grandmothers, we teach them with kindness and love, but also with firmness at times when it's required. Before women who are searching for their spiritual base, their spiritual grounding, and for their finding out who they are, it takes encouragement and understanding, bringing understanding to them in our kindest way possible about how beautiful they are and what a powerful role they have in not only in the lives of their children, but in the lives of all of our people. I think that we have adopted a way of life, I know we have adopted a way of life, a Western model of life that subjugates our women to a lesser role than what was originally intended for us by our Creator, and which is that our women are the ones who are the leaders of our families. And that role has been reversed, and it's really difficult. It's been difficult to change that and to bring that original, the original understanding of who we are as women and what our role in the lives of our families and our people is. And that's where we as grandmothers and all women can empower each other, saying, you know what, you are powerful. You have a role to play in the going forward of a good life for your family, but also for all our people. And when we have women struggling, an entire family struggles. When a father is struggling, an entire family struggles, and therefore a community struggles. So that's one of the areas that on a personal level, that is something we can do every day without having to have a formal position or a formal role. All of us are responsible to uplift each other. All of us are responsible to encourage each other. And we make ourselves available individually. We need to help in this process of reversing what Dave talked about, was a colonial approach to life that just doesn't work for our people. We are powerful and beautiful, and we have so many strengths, and it's our opportunity to bring forward our strengths and our ability to do things that we oftentimes wait for others to do for us. It's about taking control of ourselves and our own lives, and about living it in a way that is fulfilling for us. It's a challenge when we're fighting against the stream of imposition of ways that aren't ours, but it can be done. And it begins, again, I say, with the young girls, but for the young women that you speak of, we encourage them all to speak with any grandmother and any mother that brings out that positive aspect of a woman's purpose in life. What a gift it is. What a powerful gift it is to bring forth life and to actually guide the future of the generations to come. And that's an understanding that is underpins everything else that we do as women, to uplift each other and to encourage each other. And I would encourage all of you to do that. That is our roles in lives as individuals, is to provide that foundation of encouragement and to uplift each other and to move forward. And to go directly to your question, but how do young women find that base? Well, go and speak with a grandmother. Go and sit with a grandmother. Go sit with your auntie. You will find that from them. And if they're not able to provide that for you, then there are others. Like we said, all of us grandmothers are responsible for all our young women and young men and all our families. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Katherine. Dr. Courchene, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think that, what Kathy is saying is absolutely true. And first of all, recognizing that, we've had to endure, nothing less than a cultural genocide of a people that has created, a lot of negative impacts in our environment, that we struggle to find, ourselves again as a people. And it is only when we go back to the beginning that we'll have some hope of finding the strength, the courage, to take us to a better place. And part of that challenge is to try to disengage as much as we can from the colonial systems that do not reflect an understanding of who we are. I know there's many young people out there. What they want is they want someone that would listen to them. They want someone that would guide them, from love, from kindness. And the young people today, they face so much temptations and so much challenges that it's incumbent upon us that, that have been able to live a good life, knowing these teachings and receiving these teachings, that we know that the young people deserve that same opportunity to be able to hear these beautiful teachings that, that we have as a people. We're going to have to try and find more ways that we can work collectively to create those opportunities for the young people. I think of the young people in the urban centers, and there are many, and I've heard many of them say, I wish I could go to the lodge. I wish I could go to the ceremony, but no one wants to take me. No one wants to support, their journey and wanting to know who they are. Because the bottom line is, it's about identity. Who are you? And the young people want to know who they are. They're not going to find it within those institutions that have no knowledge and understanding of our uniqueness, of our identity and who we are. So somehow we're going to have to find a way to try and offer more support for young people to make it to our lodges. And the other thing is, if they can't make it to the lodges, they should go to the land somehow. Go near a river, go near some trees, and really call out to the spirit, because the land will listen to you. The land will hear how you're feeling. Because I know that a lot of the young people have a lot to express. A lot of young people are experiencing trauma in their lives, and they're losing faith in humanity itself. I think that's why so many people, young people, have taken their lives, because they've lost, the value of life itself. They feel that no one cares, no one really wants to take the time, to listen to the pain, to the grief, that they're undergoing. So it's going to require all of us together to work together to find ways to give support to the young people. We need to educate our own young people. We've got to stop depending on institutions that have no understanding of our identity. We have to build our own infrastructures, build, that way of life that our ancestors had lived by, with these sacred teachings and sacred values. And the young people, I would encourage them, find a way to ceremony. I know at the Turtle Lodge, we've been very inclusive, and we open the door for everyone to come and join us as we experience, the spirit that comes in through the power of the pipe and the drum and the songs. This is what they need to hear, so that they can feel good about who they are, so that they can feel proud that we have a way of life that the world is going to have to learn about if we're going to survive. So it's encouraging young people to find their way to the lodges of their people. And I know that there are people right across this country, that are conducting those ceremonies. Find them, put some tobacco down. And if you're ready to receive a teacher, that teacher will be there for you. Anyway.
I agree that lodges are limited in urban settings, Dr. Courchene. Perhaps settings like these virtual teachings will open doors of opportunities to reach out more to people, especially our younger people. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Turtle Lodge and where you're located?
Yeah, we're located about an hour and a half northeast of Winnipeg on the Saugeen First Nation.
Mm-hmm.
We built a lodge in 2002 with the help of many, many young people. And it was really constructed through the labor of love of individuals that believed in the dream. And today I'm so proud that, that we've developed a reputation, across the country for having a place like this where we can share our ceremonies, where we can share our teaching. It's a very unique place. It's not run in a colonial context. This is run from a spiritual context. We follow the seasons, we follow the moon. So this is when we gather, to celebrate life itself. So the Turtle Lodge, came from a dream that I had many years ago, out of my own need to want to find something that would help support our people and to help support and restore what was taken away from us. So I'm very proud that, many have answered the call, the knowledge keepers that I work with across the country that are recognized now as a national group of elders from across the country. And we're engaged in a lot of initiatives right now, trying to change the narrative in this country, and it's the elders that have that real understanding, that can take a lead to creating, a better place for all of us.
So for those who may be interested in accessing or visiting the Turtle Lodge, or interested to continue the dialogue and ask for your support and guidance, how could we connect to both of you, you and Elder Katherine?
Well, we have a website, and people usually get a hold of us through email, and we do get a lot of people that write us letters or make requests, and then we work with a lot of organizations that want to to come and experience that environment we create. But because of the pandemic, we've had to also follow those restrictions that are out there. We've had to delay a number of events that that were scheduled. But
Absolutely, yeah.
we try to list what we can, on our website, and especially we're really working to try to set the world on fire on December, and I hope that the people that you have listening today will will take that time, even to light a candle on that particular day.
So yeah, do you mind sharing with us your website and your email?
Yes, it's turtledge@mts.org.net.
So it's turtledge.mts.net. Is that right?
turtledge@mts.net is the email.
At mts.net.
Yeah, and what's the book? And the website is turtledge.org.
Turtledge.org is the website.
Yeah.
How about you,
Helene?
Elder Katherine? Hello? I'm not seeing faces because I'm monitoring the chat. I have a few questions here that I'm going to read off. Who called my name?
That was me, Helena. I was just going to say, like, if you had a hard time hearing, that I could provide that information to you about the Turtle Lodge and do all that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then we'll just share that with everyone. So
Yes.
there was a question about the recordings of today's teachings. It will be available on the website as soon as we receive the consent from our presenters. So hopefully that's next week. And then there was a question here from Michael about, so he's wondering how we can get the school systems to work with us in just meeting the children where they're at, instead of insisting on getting an FASD diagnosis. There's so much harm that is done when we expect mothers to admit that they may have harmed their child. I see no positive action coming from putting mothers in this position just to get the diagnosis. I believe that we can just accept the children where they are. And then we have a comment from Lucy that she's been working in the field as an FASD program manager, and FASD has been in her community for as long as she can remember. And in her growing years, she's seen mothers abusing alcohol during their pregnancies, and because of the choice the mother has made, we now have many individuals affected with FASD. And now we have doctors who can diagnose for children in our communities, and she's glad that we have proper supports now, such as Jordan's principal. And there was a thank you from Kelly for the inspiring words from Elder Katherine and Dr. Dave. It would be wonderful if you, it would be wonderful if you could speak with our teenage children in the schools. That is where it all starts. Which school is it, Kelly? Oh. I hear prompts, but our chat box is not moving on my end here. Sorry, my face is all of a sudden so big. Do we have any more questions or insights that we want to share at this table? Any thoughts?
Can I share a few words?
Yes.
My name is Frank Todd here.
Hi, Frank.
Hi. I just like to share what I've learned through the years. I'd like to thank Katherine Whitecloud for all those teachings, and Dave Courchene Jr., thank you very much. I learned a lot from all nations. I just want to share that the White Buffalo Calf woman brought 7 sacred ceremonies to Dakota people. And the Jews have the 7 sacred teachings. And today what we're doing is we're combining them together, which is one of the best things I've ever done, especially working from the Brandon Friendship Center as a culture worker. You know, again, we need to use the ceremonies that were given us by a woman, the White Buffalo Calf woman. She brought life. She brought life to the Lakota people. And when you talk about young people, especially the ones that are born, you know, the grandparents have that right to give it a spirit name. The grandparents have that right. Now, majority of our children are born without spirit names. And this is where what we call nudity, they're lost in this world. So the grandparents have to step up and start naming their little grandchildren, male or female, a spirit name. And this will benefit them too, to their journey to about 13, 15 years of age. When they become that age, you know, what we call for the young girls is Ishna Tipi. What that means is that the young girl is taken into that lodge, a teepee structure, where she's given teachings when she's on her moon time. And this is where all the grandmothers and aunties get together and start teaching that young girl what she's going through. It's just going to be a life giver. For the young boys, again, the White Buffalo Calf brought Habrecha, what we call the vision quest. So when a young boy is walking, when he reaches puberty, he's put on a vision quest, 4 days, 4 nights, without no food, water, by himself. And this is where this young boy begins to look at himself, who he is in this world. He's given a vision, what he's going to do in the future as a human being in this world. So again, you talk about ceremonies, we need to use these ceremonies. And I went back to my community and provide the vision quest for young boys, but I have no response. So again, the communities need to work together.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, this Washichu world that we live in, this white world that we live in, we take that instead of taking the natural way of life. So again, we need to use the ceremonies, the teachings to the younger generation. You know, in my community, there's a lot of suicide. Again, the young people are crying out for help. But again, our old people are too busy fighting amongst each other with jealousy. You know, that teaching is not ours. That jealousy is not ours. The Europeans brought that over. When you talk about alcohol, again, that alcohol is not ours. The Europeans brought that over to destroy the First Nations people. And that's what's happening today. Now we call it Nagisapa, the black spirit of that alcohol. There's ways to cure a disease. And like Courchene and Katherine are talking about, is faith and belief. We got to have that faith and belief within ourselves. Because the old people say, how can you help somebody? You can't even help yourself. You got to help yourself first. Then you get up and you're 100% healed of whatever trauma you go through in life. You're ready to heal other people. And this is what you do. This is what we got to teach our younger generation. Yes, they're born with gifts. But a lot of times those gifts don't show up because they're full of alcohol, they're full of drugs. They can't see that gift.
Mm-hmm.
And I say with the parents, they can't see the gift of that child because they too are so full of alcohol and drugs. So again, these teachings, these ceremonies need to come back. Yes, it is hard today because of an epidemic, but again, we just got to keep talking in a humble, respectful way to the younger generation. For myself, I go into schools, elementary, high school, university, college, and this is how I talk to the younger generation. I don't stand there looking for a payment. No, tobacco is good enough. I don't like to be called an elder. There's so much meaning of an elder. Some elders drink, some elders have hatred, jealousy. I don't want to put it into that group. We're being categorized. And we look at our young people, we label them. Oh, you're a bad kid. Your mom was no good. So again, we got to stop labeling our young children. They're, in Dakota way, we say wakaji, as sacred ones, because these children are sacred. We have no right to throw them away. We have no right to shout at them. We have no right to punish them. The discipline needs to come back. And this is where the grandfathers, the grandmothers need to step up. To start teaching. Instead, they're holding their own trauma within themselves. They dwell on that. And this is where they get sick. We're losing our elders. We're losing our elders. And this is how I talk within my community. And a lot of people don't like what I say because truth hurts. We got to start speaking of truth and honesty of our people. And if we don't do that, our children are not going to get better. They're not going to get any better. So with that, I thank you for allowing me to speak. Thank you. Whoopin.
I'm glad you can join us today, Frank. Do you mind telling us which community you're from?
Sioux Valley, Dakota Nation.
Hello.
Hello.
And what is your role in the community?
Oh, actually, I work at the Brandon Friendship Center. I'm here in Brandon. I live in Brandon, bought a house, so I'm here. And I do go back to my community to help out with SWATs, whatever. I go help out. So, it is a tough role, but
yes,
we need to continue going. We cannot look back. A lot of old people say, where's your eyes? Are they in the back of your head? No. Which way is your feet pointing? Are they pointing backwards? No, they're pointing forwards. So that teaching us to keep moving forward. Even though times get tough, this is where the faith and belief comes in. This
absolutely.
is where Courchene comes in. The prayer comes in. This is where the ceremonies come in to keep you on that right path. That's what I'm trying to teach my community about being positive, even though we're in an epidemic, but that disease can be cured. So yes, you just keep walking. Do the best you can. That's all we can do.
Very well said. Thank you so much, Frank. And we got to have faith.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. I'm just going to look at the chat box. Okay. Hello.
Hello, Helene.
Hello. Yeah.
Hi.
Mary.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah. I just want to thank the gentleman, Frank, for speaking. Miigwech for your beautiful words. It made, I learned from you as well. I just want to acknowledge a couple of people that I see. Jamie. Hi, Jamie.
Hey, Mary.
And Shannon. Hi, Shannon. Shannon Foster. And Lucy. Where are you?
Lucy just messaged me. She said that her laptop crashed. Maybe.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to say hi and acknowledge these people. Thanks.
Yeah, we may not be able to go through all of you, but we still have the floor open for any more sharings. Questions, thoughts, clarifications? Clear as mud, eh? Well, if there are no more questions, Paul, take it away.
Okay, we just want to send our thanks on behalf of the Lake Manitoba Jordan's principal to the elders, Dave and Katherine, also everybody who participated. We are very privileged to listen to our elder, Katherine Whitecloud from Sioux Valley, Dakota Nation, and elder Dr. Dave Courchene from Saugeen First Nation. Thank you for providing us with teachings and giving us words of encouragement and inspiration to help support our communities. We all kindly receive your blessing to continue the good work that we have started and put our hopes, dreams, and visions of healthier families and communities in action. Also, if you'd like to find out more about the Looking After Each Other Dignity Project and other Manitoba FASD Coalition activities, please visit our website at www.fasdcoalition.ca. You can also follow us on Facebook, Manitoba FASD Coalition. Membership is free and open to anyone with an interest in FASD under the How to Get Involved tab. You can also complete the member form on our website. We're looking for people who are willing to share their ideas with Looking After Each Other's subcommittees. We have the common language subcommittees that helped create the FASD language guide, providing alternative words and phrases to use when discussing FASD and promote dignity of those who use alcohol during pregnancy and those with FASD. We have the research subcommittees to inform us of best practices in prevention and intervention of FASD to promote dignity. And last but not least, we have the popular education subcommittee that helps develop materials, events, and projects and creates avenues for sharing messages, promoting dignity, and regarding our social responsibility concerning FASD. So please share the word around.
Again, thank you everyone for attending. We will be sending you an evaluation survey. We would kindly ask that you take a few minutes to complete the survey so that we could improve our future sessions. And again, those of you participating in our virtual session, your names will be drawn to win a gift certificate, and that will be announced at our Facebook page. So give us a like, Manitoba FASD Coalition on the search tab on Facebook. Also, the announcements will be available on the website, that's 4 W's, 3 W's only, www.fasdcoalition.ca. Again, that concludes our second virtual gathering. Mark your calendars for the last virtual elders teachings on November 18 from 1 to 3 p.m. For all the planning and content for today's Looking After Each Other virtual teaching, we would like again to extend our acknowledgement to Elder Dr. Dave Courchene, Elder Katherine Whitecloud, the Zagate Jordan's Principal team at Lake Manitoba First Nation, led by Grandmother Mary May Toyashing, with support from Ken Lamoureux, Shannon Foster, Debbie Seelan, Twyla Gilroy, and Kim Wozniak from the Manitoba FASD Coalition. This is Helena Estrada. Thank you all for coming.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I apologize for my my unmuting. I don't know what happened. I just suddenly wasn't on mute.
Oh, it's okay, Shannon. It's okay.